Okay, so for those of you that may not know, what is deep sleep? Now, deep sleep is sometimes referred to as slow wave sleep. That is, slow wave sleep and deep sleep are sometimes used interchangeably to describe the same thing. They aren't necessarily the same thing, but they fall under the same mechanistic umbrella. What is that mechanistic umbrella? Well, when you go to sleep at night, you cycle through a number of different stages of sleep. And in the early part of the night, I would say in the first half of your night or so, most of your sleep is going to be slow wave deep sleep. But then as you transition into the second half of your night, more of your sleep will be rapid eye movement sleep. Now that's the typical pattern that is observed when you're not disrupting your sleep architecture with things like caffeine and alcohol. We'll talk about caffeine and alcohol in a few minutes. Deep sleep, aka slow wave sleep, at least for sake of this conversation, is vitally important, in particular for repair of bodily tissues. During deep sleep, you secrete growth hormone. And in fact, you secrete growth hormone every night when you go to sleep. But most of that growth hormone release is restricted to the first half of your sleep night. The other feature of deep sleep is that the dreams that occur during deep sleep tend to be of a less emotional nature than the sorts of dreams that one experiences in rapid eye movement sleep. So just to give a broad top contour of what deep sleep, aka slow wave sleep, is really about, it tends to occur in the first half of the night. It also occurs in the second half of the night, but in the first half of the night, most of your sleep is going to be occupied by deep sleep, aka slow wave sleep. It is the time when your bodily tissues are repaired, in part by release of growth hormone, which is involved in metabolism, but also protein synthesis, muscle repair, repair of all cell types and tissues. And during deep sleep, your dreams tend to be somewhat mundane, sometimes a little bizarre, but typically not very emotionally loaded. That can change if you're dealing with a lot of emotionally laden circumstances in your waking life. But in general, the sleep and dreams that occur in the first part of the night is deep and it's not terribly emotionally ridden. Your body also goes through specific patterns of metabolism. Now, this relates to recent findings just this last year in which researchers monitored the output of people's breath and the various metabolic factors present in the breath, as well as through blood draws. So basically doing all this while people are asleep in a laboratory. And they observed that during the first half of the night, while people are in deep sleep, their body is actually metabolizing energy very differently than it does in the second half of the night. I'll come back to this in a little while, but this turns out to be very important for establishing your metabolism and the way you regulate insulin and blood glucose during the daytime. So all of this is to say that getting sufficient deep sleep, slow wave sleep, is vitally important. And Jackson